Chris Howard from Atlanta. I'm one of the co-founders of Echo and the CTO.
CTO is important because Echo is a technology-based solution here.
Exactly. We're a technology service provider in the power sports kind of market.
Not just a provider, though. You're bridging that gap between the traditional brick and mortar face-to-face sale with the new digital era where people won't come in and do face-to-face, but they still need to transact a vehicle sale.
Yeah, you can think of us as a Carvana-like online checkout solution that dealerships can host on their website. So kind of catering to that 53% of buyers who are interested in being able to purchase a vehicle entirely online. And doing it in the same way that kind of traditional dealership sales are done, but not inclusive and including the kind of manpower that's needed to power the in-person transaction.
So the 800-pound gorilla here is compliance. I don't want to lose my franchise or violate my franchise agreement with my OEM. Absolutely. How do you get around that?
Yeah, really good question. Not really getting around it, but kind of working through it. So we have been in business for years. Kind of the first year and a half has been working with a lot of the same lawyers that did Tesla's go-to-market strategy to solve for titling and registration across all 50 states. And this is really where our bread and butter is. We have kind of hosts of teams who have gone out into every municipality, county, state level, calling up different DMV organizations to understand, hey, what are the different kind of permutations that exist in order to create a kind of titling and registration packet to title and register my off-highway vehicle or my motorcycle or what have you, LSV, NEV, any of these kind of vehicle verticals. So it's been a really long time gaining a technical appreciation to index these documents such that now in any locality, whether you're a veteran or a public worker or perhaps you are a teacher, you qualify for different kind of rates and you have to fill out different forms in each of these localities. We have an in-depth understanding of all of those different permutations so that in every locality and for any vehicle type in the power sports market, we're able to title and register these things with no problem. And we've done this today. In 2024, sold thousands of vehicles across different vehicle verticals into all 50 states and have successfully titled and registered in each of them.
That's a lot of brain power. Was this AI or was this out of your mind?
Good question. We leverage a lot of AI models in order to build up this understanding. Constantly these things are changing, right? We have a head of compliance who kind of leads up a lot of these efforts, but we leverage a lot of really interesting technology tools to make sure we're staying on top of these laws and regulations such that when they change, we're able to reflect those changes in our system and kind of maintain this appreciation across all 50 states, how to be able to title and register in a compliant way.
So title and registration all over the board, there's 50 variations or more down at the county level, but how does something like a dirt bike that's not street legal or not registered for street use, but is still going through this transaction process?
Yeah, good question. So it kind of speaks to the configurability and malleability of our kind of product. So for certain vehicle types that don't need insurance, or certain states don't even require these things to be registered. In California, right, for a dirt bike, you still have to get the green sticker, but in other states, that's not relevant. So it's kind of an extension of the same, where we have an in-depth understanding for each of the vehicle types, what's required at the state level in order to use this on public highways or public roads or off, on private land. So, for enduro models, for example, we allow buyers to select whether they would like this to be street legal, in which case we go through the entire titling and registration process in that state to register this vehicle to be street legal. Or if they just want to use it on private property, great, we can register it as an OHV and get that green sticker in California or, in any other state, the relevant kind of requirements for registration.
And with that titling process being as robust as it is, does it also apply to a pre-owned or a trade-in unit that the dealer would take?
It's a good question. So the titling and registration engine that we've built up and a lot of the technology that we use, the value there is to be able to add on additional vehicle verticals in a really scalable way. So for us to add on pre-owned and for us to add a new vehicle vertical like marine, things of this nature, it's really easy and quick for us to do because we built up the infrastructure from a technological perspective to do it quite quickly. So to date, have we done this for pre-owns? No. Is it difficult for us to extend our titling and registration workflow to rather issue a new title just to reassign that title to a new buyer? It wouldn't be particularly difficult because we're so, we have a fantastic understanding of how these systems work.
And has there been any pushback from the OEMs themselves?
No, they love it. And thinking about the different stakeholders in the market, you have the manufacturers at one perspective where it's like, hey, sometimes they have difficulty helping their dealers get through the titling and registration process. That leads to an angry customer because they're not able to drive this vehicle because, holdups at the DMV. So for us, we're making their customers happy, which by extension makes the manufacturers happy. You then have lenders, right? They care a lot about having these liens perfected and in a timely manner so that, the underlying collateral is secured and they maintain that ownership stake in the vehicle. Having this kind of robust end-to-end process that's handles the titling and registration out of the box in a confident way makes them happier about the online sales piece. And then obviously the dealer itself, right? Especially for out-of-state transactions where, dealers are generally very good at doing titling and registration within their locality in the state. But when they start transacting across state lines, they're now interacting with DMV organizations that they're not particularly familiar with. Yeah. So leveraging our technology where we have those reps and we really understand how to do it has been a phenomenal boon to them.
Win-win for everything. Now, where's the nefarious smoking gun here? Are you doing data scraping? Are you going to repackage the information and sell it to somebody? Is this the next version of TikTok?
It's a good question. Yeah, data privacy is certainly very important to us. So whenever we work with a new dealership, we'll sign an agreement with them that they have all of the data that we have. We do not share any data from a particular dealership with another dealership. We take that very seriously. We are undergoing kind of SOC 2 compliance, CCPA, GLBA, all of the privacy requirements that we need as a technology player within the space. We very much value the privacy of our customers and do not share data beyond kind of the individual clients that we're working with. And at the dealership level, what's really helpful is all the data that we get from a consumer. So anyone who's visiting our checkout, they will kind of the first piece of information that they put in is their name and their email. As soon as we collect that, we share that directly with the dealership so that if they churn or they don't kind of complete that checkout process, we automate re-engagement. So we email them, we send them SMS, but we also share that lead with the dealership to follow up in a more kind of personalized manner to kind of get that dealer, or rather that buyer, across the line.
And does the system integrate with like Talon for Harley-Davidson?
Yeah, good question. So we are actively working with a handful of different DMS providers so that every order that's coming through the Echo checkout solution appears in the DMS provider of the dealership. And why that's important is we're not asking dealers who are leveraging the Echo checkout solution to have two different workflows, one that's for the online sale and one that's for the offline sale. We think it's very important that every order kind of goes to the same single source of truth, which is the DMS. So a Talon, a Lightspeed, whichever DMS you're using as a dealership, we're working with them to have that kind of seamless integration with their technology solution. So what are we continuing to build out? I think identity verification is a really important topic that we take very seriously. I mean, you see it across the industry, even in in-person transactions, fraud is on the rise. Yeah. And in the online domain, you can imagine that's even bigger. So one of our core value props and what we take very seriously as a technology company is how can we identify and mitigate fraud to the highest degree. And we leverage a lot of cool technologies here, and they kind of boil down to three different components. So one, using AI models to identify suspicious behavior. So a good example that I like to speak to is whenever we submit a credit application, anyone who copy and pastes their name into a credit application, that's a suspicious behavior. I mean, most folks are just doing it off the top of their head. Yeah. So that's one of a million different signals that we're collecting within the scope of our platform to flag any sort of suspicious behavior. So that's the first piece, this divisive behavior. Any kind of input that a buyer is giving us going through the checkout process, we're analyzing that to identify, are they engaging in anything suspicious? Second piece is document validation. So we make sure people upload their driver's license and validate that against government registries and DMV registries to make sure these people are who they say they are. Of course, you still have synthetic fraud, but that's typically captured in the first instance of suspicious behavior on the device level. And then you have the third level. So let's say an individual is flagged as a suspicious actor going through our checkout flow. We have manual people on our team who are reaching out to these to go through manual kind of validation exercises to make sure that these people are truly who they say they are. So I'm proud to say over thousands of orders in 2024, we've had zero fraudulent orders slip through the cracks.
That's pretty amazing. And like at the MIC symposium, we learned how prevalent synthetic fraud has become, which we didn't talk about that 6 months ago, and all of a sudden it's impacting all of us.
Yeah.
So if I'm a dealer and I want to learn more about Echo, where do I go?
Absolutely. Go to our website at echodealer.com. You can submit a interest.
Echo spelled funny though.
Yeah, oh, that's right, ekhodealer.com. Submit an interest form. We do have kind of a backlog of dealers that we're looking to integrate with, so we will reach out quickly. We'd hope to get you online within the platform quickly, but we do have a backlog, so looking to clear that out as soon as we can.
Chris, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for your time, Rob.